Yay, hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to this week Trading Tuesday Live. We're magnet marketers. Our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. And today we have a special treat for you. We're going to talk about some free website tools to help you amp up those conversions, the sales, the opt-ins, all those leads that you want to come to your home base. But before we dive into the goodies, if we've not met before, my name is Jessica Phillips with Now Marketing Group and the Relationship Marketing System. I'm an awesome co-host. He's Mike Gingrich. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular app Swapptio, Tabsite, and published author extraordinaire. How's it going on this Tuesday for you, Mike?
Hey, doing well and excited about the topic here. I like to talk about things with the web and SEO and tools particularly that can really help with that. So excited for this time together.
Right in your wheelhouse. You love the web stuff. So I do it too. And I really think we've talked a lot this year on marketing in general, of course, as we always do, and, the right attitude to have and everything to prepare during this time of where many people are still locked in, if you will, and not able to do business as usual. And they're really relying on social for those, communication tools and relationships with their clients. But we have to remember that a lot of the sales happen on the home base. And while your stores may still be physically closed or look a lot different than they used to, you're really reliant on your website to fulfill kind of what you would if somebody was coming into your store. So it's a good time to kind of take a peek at your website and see, what are some things that we could do to kind of amp it up a bit, right? Or at least make sure that we're optimizing every opportunity that's coming in.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of these are just ones that they give you tools to help evaluate it, and then key things that says, break it down so that you're not just left with kind of like, I don't know what to do, but you can come through here. We can say this tool does this and it's going to report these things. And then you can take those steps.
Yeah. Especially a lot of the conversations. So a lot of these topics, if you will, for the week really come from conversations that I've had with either team members or clients or prospects, that are what's top of mind and what people are talking about right now. And a conversation that's come up quite a bit right now are people that are really taking a peek at their website, or they're looking at starting one for themselves, like a personal site to sell maybe a training course or something that they're pivoting into doing because their main gig or hustle is either shut down temporarily or, changed quite a bit. And they're looking at a way of making some extra income or just having something potentially for sale on their website or, growing in leads. So a lot of those conversations have been happening. And also the conversation of, oh my God, I don't know if I can afford right now to completely revamp my site or pay for someone to, do this the best way, which of course the best way, is really taking a peek at your site and updating it ongoing. A website's never done.
Right.
But at least these tools could be some, starting for free that you can use. And that's the tools we're going to talk about are free tools that you can use right now on your website, depending on what it's built on. But a lot of them will work with any type of website builder for the most part, to at least start growing in those conversions, depending on what a conversion looks like to you. Many of them are conversions in the form of getting some insight and growing an email list or opt-ins for people to start a conversation with you. And that way you can earn that revenue to, amp up your website even more with either have a developer work on it or, add in some paid plugins that can take it to the next level up. So some of these though, we use even on our site, our Now site and many client sites. So they're all really good tools.
No, absolutely. And just taking a look, starting it off, a lot of people probably heard of Yoast.
These are all SEO tools, by the way, and I'll let you talk about but big thing right now, search. So when people are looking for something because the store's closed, they're Googling it right now, or Yahoo or Bing if people still use those. But search is crucial right now to make sure that you are found for that thing. So the first tool that Mike's going to talk about is something that everyone should be using, some form of SEO and taking a peek at how are you showing up online right now so you are found and people can purchase or convert with you.
Right. right? Which is a good point. I mean, searches are up, time on mobile devices is up, all those types of pieces. And when somebody can't go out, they're looking at, what other way can they do it? They're looking on the web, and you want to come up in the search engines. Obviously, there's going to be some competition for that. But one thing that you need to do is make sure that your site is optimized. The way you do that, it's kind of like on a per page basis. And Yoast SEO is one of those that does that for you. So again, it's for WordPress users, it's a simple plugin. There's a free version, there's a premium version. Free version does a lot, and so you can add that onto your site. And then let's say you're going to go create you're going to evaluate a page you have. Maybe you're, like Jessica said, maybe it's that course page, or it's a new blog post, that type of thing. So with Yoast on there, you can go down to the Yoast area that it gives you in the manager area, and it's going to evaluate that page. It's kind of like a traffic light, the red, yellow, green type symbols, and it's telling you, and there's an overall scoring on that, red, yellow, or green, and so your goal is to have the page optimized, is to have that in the green status, and it's got, I don't know, maybe 20 plus some things that it's going to run through on those things, and it's going to say, what status you're at. If you're at red, if you're at yellow, you're at green on those pieces there, and it kind of tells you what to do. So I'm just going to go through some of the basics on those pieces, the things that you would think about. It's taking a look at, what's your key. You identify keyword phrase, and then it evaluates the page based on that. So it's going to say, is that in your title? Is that in your first couple sentences, of the paragraph? Are you using some phrase of that in a subtitle? Does that term appear naturally in the content, in a few times? Is it in the meta description? It's going to go through those different pieces, even taking a look at your images. And so it's going to give you that score. And so it's a beautiful tool because it helps break it down for you. People say, I don't know how to do SEO. Well, Yoast will do that for you because it's just going to give you a list. You write out your content the way you're going to, then it's going to evaluate it and give you the tips on what you need to do to optimize that.
Yeah, you described it perfectly. So Yoast, and I put the link in there, it's just yoast.com. It's a free tool. They do have some premium features, but as Mike said, the free tool does do a lot. So we definitely use that on every client website that we're doing. We use the premium as well for many of the client sites that we are updating ongoing. But the free tool, again, will let you know by page basis, how are you doing as far as trying to optimize for a specific keyword that you can let Yoast know that you're trying to optimize for. And one of the beautiful things, as Mike said, that it does tell you how you're doing, kind of a red, yellow, green score on that. But another thing that I love is that they let you write out the meta description on how you would like it to display to the search engines. So instead of it just grabbing a piece of content as Google does and then put it on Google, they let you optimize and put in what you do want to show up. So if you want a different kind of lead in from Google where the user that's searching for a service is going to see, or a product is going to see, you can type that out and write that meta description. The meta description is like what's displaying to Google. And again, Mike said you don't have to be an expert in SEO. You don't. Yoast does a beautiful job of telling you why they've graded you a certain way and give you some ideas and suggestions on improving that score. So it's a great plugin for people, whether you're new and don't even understand search engine optimization at all. It's going to really help you and be your best friend, as well as if you do it a lot, it's still going to be a very nice add-in to save you some time from doing the meta descriptions and things like that, as well as giving you suggestions on other pages to link to. And then the premium features, if you do end up paying for it, it gives you even more some tools even above and beyond that allow you to do even more, like submitting it different to each site, as well as each site meaning Google, Yahoo, Bing, as well as some sitemap submissions and some extra SEO more advanced features that are really going to help keep your site at the top of the search for your category, give you the best chances anyway of getting there. So kind of continuing with that SEO in mind and really helping some free tools that you can use to really help make sure that you're being found in search. And please let us know if you're watching what tools that you are using. But we're going to list some of our favorite free ones that you can use. But continuing with that theme, I really like this brow SEO. So it's really kind of like browse, but it's BROWSEO.net. And this is going to let you know what your site looks like in the search engine. So it is going to be a tool that you can use to see, how am I displaying? What does it look like? So if you're not sure, like if you want to change up that meta description or anything, it's going to give you a free tool to be able to see what it looks like on any of the search engines and how it's displaying, so you can tweak that. So if you want a different image that's displaying with it, or if you want to tweak your meta description, or even your title and how it leads in, it's going to be a nice little plugin that you can add to that. So yes, thank you, Amy. Amy says she loves Yoast. She was lost without it and learned a lot from it. Yes, I love that. Yoast does provide some amazing training tutorials too, to really help educate you on how search engines work too. And Tim says, hey, Jessica and Mike from his basement in PA. Hey, Tim, how's it going? From my living room. And Mike, where are you? Bedroom, living room?
Bedroom, yeah.
Yeah. And hey, good to see you, April, as well on here. So I'm glad that you guys are using some of these tools already. Again, like, let us know if you see any tools that you would like using, or if you're already using some already. And I'm going to try to keep up with the links here. The next one, Mike, kind of rounding out our free SEO tools. I know we could go on, but these are a few of my favorites. Have you used Can I Rank before?
That one's a new one to me. I mean, I did take a look at it though, and I like what I see there. Using artificial intelligence to give me specific recommendations, that type of piece. So again, these things are getting smart, giving us good insights. So that's why we do these things, to continue to learn. So you brought me a new one there, so I'll let you talk about this one.
And that's why I love like hearing from others, because I'm like, what tools do you got? They can be addictive if they're helpful. So this Can I Rank is really a great one for either yourself, or as well as when a client comes to you, if you're doing agency work or client work, and they're like, hey, I want to rank #1 on Google for X, right? And usually that's how they kind of start out the conversation. It's like, can you get me there? And you want to see, okay, what do you want to rank for? And can you rank for it, right? Like, of course, nothing in search engine optimization is guaranteed for page 1 of Google. Relevancy and authority is what Google bases it on. And the only two ways of ranking, as we've said on here before, are paid, whether you pay for it or you earn it through having good SEO. So Can I Rank uses some artificial intelligence, as Mike said on there, and it really does score your site. So it asks you like what you want to rank for first, like your keyword, and then list in your competitors if you are trying to rank against someone else, and then takes a look at your website pages individually and let you know what are your best chances for ranking there and what could you do to improve it so you can rank. So it's going to give you some good feedback. It's a free tool. They do have some premium features, as all of these tools do, but the free is a great way of getting started with it.
Excellent. Looking forward to checking that one out further. And I was just, there's all kinds of pieces there now. So let's see, do we have GTmetrix on your site there?
I didn't put that one in. There are a couple others that we'll get into when it comes to like really just optimization and checking it over for like site speed and all that. So we can even go into those next if that flows nicely for you, and then get into the engagement part, because really it is kind of in that order, right? You want to make sure that it's set up foundationally for the best chance of being found. Yep. And then is it the best chance of, providing the best experience, if you will, and then the conversion stuff, right? So we do have a few for optimization and then like site speed they put in here, but GTmetrix I did not have in. So if you want to put that one, that's great.
Yeah, no, we can jump into site speed tools there if you want to take a look at that piece there. So basically, as you said, so you can optimize per page, and then but there are some other factors, and a Google ranking factor today is the speed of your site. The tool I mentioned there was GTmetrix. I'll get that link, but and basically that's one that's going to kind of analyze your site for speed. Yep. And a number of recommendations on that piece. So oftentimes it'll come back with some results. Maybe one of those results is, hey, you've got some large images on there, and that's slowing down the loading of your site. So what do you do? Okay, so that's where one of these speed tools comes in. There's a WordPress plugin called Smush It, WP Smush It, and basically Smush, to narrow down, to compress. Basically, it even, and again, a lot of these, there's a free version, there is a premium version, which can do a little bit more, those type of things. But even with the free version, is what it does is it'll go through like your media library folder, the images on your site, and it's going to take them down and compress them to a more optimized, so they're lighter weight, so your site loads faster, so you get more speed. So that's an important factor there. WP Smush It. I think you can do it 50 at a time.
Just real quick, like most people, I think, don't realize that. They think, okay, it's a website, so I need to have like the best high quality image that there is, which you do want a high resolution, like nice image, but the file size is often an issue, especially like on e-commerce sites. I see this a lot, or on sites that have a lot of images. It just, if you've ever seen a website like load, like slow, like it's like peeling off of the site or peeling onto the site, if you will, that is a huge issue. And some of it's even just a slight lag that you don't even really realize, but you wonder why your site's not showing up in search more often, or you have a high bounce rate. Chances are it's a speed issue. So that's what Mike's talking about here. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in.
No, because there's a definite, Google ranking factor. If your page takes 2.1 seconds to load versus 3.9 seconds to load, that's big in web terms, So WP Smush It helps take those images down and compresses those. So that's an important tool to take into effect. Now, again, then something else that helps with your speed is what's called caching. Okay, so this is where your pages can be cached. They can be remembered, so to speak, so that they can be delivered faster because it's not a fresh load every time. So there's a cached version of it, and so basically adding a caching tool to your site. Now, there's all kinds of pieces you can do there for caching, and there's more sophisticated things with CDN servers, Cloudflare, those types of pieces. But we'll start kind of simple, and you might recommend the WP Super Cache, and so that's a good caching tool. So again, a plugin that you add to your site. I'll let you talk about that. I'm gonna go back and put that GTmetrix in. I don't think I got that.
Yeah, so exactly what Mike said, like the caching tool. So not like cache, but some people say cache, whatever. But exactly what it does is what Mike said. It helps a site load faster. So if you've ever noticed when you went to a website, the first time it might load a little bit slower, but then when you go back, it loads faster. That is because it's part of this cache system. So if you would like to already kind of pre-build that in for people visiting your site, it's going to help your site load faster, and it's going to help kind of remember some of the settings that person had when they come back. So it's allowing your changes on your site basically to load faster. All this is about speed, because as Mike said, like a fraction of a second is going to make or break a different scoring through the GTmetrix that he was talking about, and how Google is ranking your site speed, as well as just overall performance for someone, especially if they're on like a slower data or a slower like Wi-Fi. It's really going to help make the difference for them, loading your site faster and overall the user experience, because there's nothing more frustrating, especially when you're on a mobile device. If you're going to a site, you can't tell if the page is turning, you're going to the next page, or if it's still just, thinking about it. And it can be frustrating. So you end up sometimes just leaving and not coming back.
Yep. Now, related to that, one I'll add to the list here as well is WP Rocket. And so it's a caching tool that I've used. I'm actually using it on my blog now, and we're very impressed with it, what it does. Again, a caching tool, and it's basically gives you some options, helps in the loading of your site. Because so one of the things, let's just say you've got a big blog post. Maybe it's a great one, 1,800 words, and you've got 6 images in there spread out, right? So what it can do to help load speeds is a little bit of what can be called lazy load. So it's going to load what people see. And so it's not loading all those 6 images at once and taking that extra fraction to load images 5 and 6, which people are not even seeing at this point in time. But it's loading what people are seeing right there, and then as they scroll down and get to that, boom, that's there. Then boom, that's there. And so it's helping people give right there at that time and not slowing down what they're seeing at that moment. Has the caching tool again, where it's remembering and delivering it faster the next time, and that's some simple tools. So you go in and with caching, one of the things you got to remember is if you update, you change a link on a page or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the cache needs to be cleared, or else people might not see that for a while, right? So there's a quick button there, right beside your publish button says clear that page, just that page, and boom, that's good. So it's going to get a fresh load, cache that one, and then it's good to go.
Yeah, because if not, that's a good one to remember. Because if not, they're like, I don't see that update.
Yeah.
Like, I changed it.
No, I did change it. No, you didn't. I don't see it. All those kind of.
All the things that happen with website that everybody realizes. So how does this all help with conversion? Really, it's a make or break. The user experience, whether it's just finding the right site, right? Like that you're ranking for the right thing that they're searching for, meeting them where they're at, and then speed, ease of use is a huge part of the user experience. So we talked a little bit about mobile and loading on mobile. Of course, it's across the board, loading fast on any platform or device that they're using. But you want to make sure that it does have the great site experience from a speed point of view that we just talked about, but also from what device they're using. So there is a free tool. I use a paid one called BrowserStack the majority of the time that tests across devices for the website. There is a free one that I'm going to list here that Google provides that is just their mobile friendly test. And that's going to let you experience what your website would be like as it is experienced on a mobile device. So Google wants this, right? They said a few years ago, Mike had mentioned the speed part, that they're going to start, de-ranking, if you will, or giving you not as high of a rank if you're not fast, if your site doesn't meet the speed requirements, but also if it doesn't meet the mobile requirements. So mobile is another big one. So you can check your site to see what is the mobile friendliness of your site. So all of this will help you at least get people through your site and experiencing it. Then we'll talk about some of the tools to help optimize and convert them. But this is also a big part of the conversion. It doesn't matter what bells and whistles you have on your website that helps kind of drag people in. If they're not able to get to it, experience it in a fast enough time, they don't even give you that 10 seconds where they're making that decision or they're staying on the site or not. So all these things definitely matter.
Absolutely.
All right. So optimizing, we just talked about the mobile friendly test, definitely an important one to check it out. Google has a lot of free tools for this stuff, by the way. And then the other free one that they have is analytics. Of course, that's kind of like hopefully one that you've all heard before, Google Analytics, but using it to know when people are on. And I'm going to put a link in here to one that I actually have in my browser window. So instead of having to log into analytics every single time to see what the traffic has been, if there's people even visiting a certain page, what pages are they visiting, where the traffic's coming from, what's the bounce rate look like, meaning are they just going to one page and leaving, they're not getting a good experience. But you can actually add a plugin tool called Google Analytics and a Page Analytics by Google, Page Analytics by Google. And you just add this in as a browser extension. You sign in to the user account that you would sign in to get into your analytics, and it stays there. So anytime you go to your website, it gives you all of the performance on your website page, in your page tabs, everything, while you're just browsing your website. It kind of just hovers over and gives you that insight of analytics. And then you can click on any of the numbers that they're giving you, and it gives you more data. So you don't have to log in and out all the time. And it really helps you understand each page of your website and how it's performing.
Definitely. Google Analytics is something to dive into. It's got more than enough tools for all of us to take a look at, and you can see things about traffic coming from social, your most popular pages, your bounce rate, all those types of pieces, which give you, kind of information.
Yeah.
Just defining bounce rate again. So if somebody comes in and they immediately leave from that page without going to any other page, that was a bounce, so they bounced off after getting there.
Just one quick example on how it's helped like with conversions. So by using that tool, you look at an analytics, of course, it gives you a lot of data, and you're just like, reading it, you're understanding it, but by adding this tool in and going back to your website and viewing it there, we're able to see, oh my gosh, okay, at our sitemap, at our top header, only 8% of people are clicking this button, right?
Yeah.
So now we're like, okay, they're clicking this button more often. Like you can visually see by just looking at your website. So now you're able to move some of your opt-ins or even some of your most important content to where people are clicking, right? So you do get a better view and understanding of how their numbers and reporting really comes into play with the website experience as you're going through it. So I mean, I love diving into strictly just logging into Google Analytics, but this has really helped kind of a visual point of view. If you're a visual person, see what do those numbers translate to as you're looking at your website.
Yep. Which is very critical, and particularly then you begin to see some trends and things that it helps train you from a web page perspective on, okay, so top left, that's more important than bottom right, those types of things, and where the people's eye generally is, and what are the key hot spots on a page.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kind of like our last tool in there, and it starts out at free. You want to talk about that one?
The Hotjar?
Yeah.
Yes, no, absolutely. So basically, that is a wonderful tool that kind of gives you that real-time visualization of what's happening. And so it's gonna break down, like you're looking at a page, it's gonna break down all the links on that and say, and what percentage, which one's the top clicked on those, and it's gonna break those into it, and it's gonna do a visual kind of like heat map on that. This is how a user typically, these are the areas where they're spending time, where their mouse is hovering, that type of piece there. So it is clearly showing you the hot and cold spots on the visual piece of a web page, and giving you the details on that, so that you have you understand the exact kind of user experience, how they are tracking, where they're going as they're navigating that page.
Yeah, some really great insights with Hotjar. And Haley, I'm going to answer your question in 1 second here. Quick hello to you, Haley, as well as Amy. Good to see you on here. And as Mike was saying with Hotjar, I love that report too. Again, it's a visual report, and they give you screenplay videos. So you can literally kind of see what a website visitor did when they're on your site. So it plays like what their desktop was looking at as they're clicking their mouse, and kind of where they're browsing. And a couple cool things we found out from that with that Hotjar is, because it gives you that heat map of where they're trying to click or where they're scrolling their mouse, we could see like, okay, they were trying to click on this image, but it wasn't associated with a link. So maybe it should be, right? Like, and you're able to really kind of get into the position of your customer or potential customer by seeing how they're experiencing your website. So a really cool tool. They also have another free add-in to it, to where you can actually add a question box that comes up for any of your website visitors to say, any suggestions on how we can improve this website. So we typically actually start out with Hotjar for our client when they're looking for a redesign, and just have it on their current website first and collect that feedback while we're considering how we build the next website. So Hotjar is a great tool. They have some premium features as well, but the free one is great. So Haley, jumping to your question, jumping back to SEO for a minute. How can you use SEO as a way to develop content ideas such as blog posts? Great question. So there's many ways of doing this. First, if you're looking at your SEO, really it should start with your evergreen content. And what I mean by that is, okay, what do you want to rank for? What do you want to be known for? But you also have to think about it from the terms of, what does your customer search, not necessarily what you're saying that keyword is. And you can find out this through many different tools. Some are free, some are paid. And before I mention the tool, I want to jump back to coming up with the content ideas. So from the content ideas, from the evergreen point of view, meaning how do you rank? Because again, Google goes off of authority and relevancy for ranking. So relevancy meaning matching exactly kind of what your ideal user is searching for. And then that's going to, meet for the search. But then authority means how many people are also linking to that thing, sharing that thing, visiting your website. Like, how authoritative are you on that subject matter? So many things come into play like visits, links back to credible sources to that article, and shares and social, all of that. But evergreen content should be the top questions that your audience would be searching for, or top questions that they're often asking you. Those are all good blog topics. And then also the top 10 questions you wished they were asking. And I love Stephanie Luz. That's her 10 by 10 formula. And she says, write the top 10 questions that your audience is asking and the top 10 questions you wish they'd asked if they were asked the expert. That can all help kind of build your authority on that keyword topic or thing that you're trying to rank for. And if you're not sure on what that is, there's a couple different tools that you can use. One that's free for kind of a baseline understanding of that keyword is called Answer the Public. That is a great tool that will help you know within your country and then even state what's being searched for a keyword. Now, it only gives you the keyword, not the phrase, which most often is probably being searched versus just one word. They're probably typing in a legit question, but that's going to give you a good starting point. There's also Keywords Everywhere. That's a paid thing. They used to give it for free, but now it's just like a couple cents per search. But Keywords Everywhere will help you know, literally stays on when you're in Google and tells you how many people are searching for a specific phrase and what some alternatives could be. And then Google's Keyword Planner is also super helpful to know that as well. And
yeah, just add on to that. So like the Keyword Planner. So basically, let's see, this was Haley who asked that question. So basically with like Keyword Planner, so you're putting a term in there that you think that that's important to your website, and then Keyword Planner is going to give you the actual ranking of that plus related terms and how much traffic they have. So what you think might be the best phrase, a one-word difference might be the top phrase on that's getting significantly more traffic. Well, is that important for you to know? And and then it'll tell you a little bit about the competition for those as well. So that's what's important is there's what you want to rank for, what people are searching for, and then the competition to rank for those various terms.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be the difference, for example, of one of our clients. They were trying to rank for like jackhammer, but airhammer was like another for a country that they were trying to rank in. It was called like airhammer there. So it was like completely different keyword than what we were thinking because of what we knew and where they're wanting to rank for in that country was a completely different word that was being used. So definitely want to take that into consideration. Like Mike said, with using that Keywords Everywhere, that's super helpful, and the Google tools. But there's some other free ones that I'll actually put the link in here because we could do a whole segment, and we have before on like just the SEO tools that are out there. There's a ton of really great ones. And when you are stumped for like blog ideas after you get into really writing and ranking for that, and keep in mind, if it's something that you really want to rank for, you want to make sure that it's a pillar piece of content, meaning, 1,200, 1,500 words on a authoritative kind of answering of that question, if you will, and a really great answer of that once you know what that keyword is. And then write supporting articles on your blog that are going to link back or support that pillar piece of content. And if you get kind of stuck on what to write or other blog ideas, there's several tools out there for that too, like HubSpot blog topic generator. There's tons of them that are out there. So, but great question. I could rant on that forever, but we'll keep going through our list and see. Hopefully, Haley, that answered your question, but please let us know if you need any more on that. So now we've got through kind of the the optimizing of your site, if you will, for at least for the most part of the speed, making sure you know what you're ranking for, as well as what the user experience is currently on your site. So how you can improve it. Of course, SSL is also going to come into play with those kinds of things, but that can be free. It depends on your hosting provider. But what I mean by SSL, that's, the the security that comes up on your URL to make sure that, one, it's displaying in search and that it's displaying as your meta description, not this site is not secure. So you make sure you have the HTTPS at the end, and that can be free if it's offered by your hosting provider. But that's other things that are going to really help you rank. But let's dive into the engagement things that you can add into your site to now get that into the conversions of, once they're there, now they're experiencing a better site overall. How can we opt them in?
Yeah. So I think one of the first things to consider is the user experience and creating that environment where they can get their question answered. And so we're talking about messaging tools. And so there's ways for, real-time chat on a website, and that's becoming, more and more of a important factor, and more people are expecting that, particularly like, with e-commerce or those type of things where somebody has a question, they want to ask that question right there. It can be another source of leads. Somebody will just put in, hey, I'm interested in X right there in the chat, that type of piece, as opposed to looking for some other type of contact form or something like that. There's multiple things that you can do. One of the ones that's really grown in popularity is Messenger itself, like as in Facebook Messenger tool that you can now add to your website. And yes, it is synced with your page, and so that works together in that. So you can have one area where you can see messages from Facebook, from your website, and so you can use that as a messaging tool on your website.
It's free. Yeah. So, and I'm even going to go out on a limb and say that messaging on your website should almost be a standard today. People are expecting, they don't have to use it, but when you do have a question, there's nothing more annoying than trying to dig through a website and try to figure it out. We've just become kind of spoiled as online users, really, of being able to have our answers quickly answered and information easy to find. So if we're not finding in the first, little bit that we're on a website, we're kind of like, ugh, I just want some help, right? And so it's not going to hurt anything to have the Messenger on your website, and it can be free. Like Mike said, the Messenger is one version of it, and that's directly from Facebook. And what's cool about that is, one, you're getting people into the inbox. Two, you can control when the chat is on and when it's off. That's usually the biggest kind of concern that comes up when we talk with clients on having a chat on their website. So if you are out of the office, you can have the actual communication turned off, and where it tells the website visitors on your website that, hey, we're out of office, but here's the answers to some commonly asked questions. And you can pre-program those into your Messenger. It only takes a few seconds to get set up. You just go to your Messenger section of Facebook on your business page, and then go to your settings there. And one, you can pre-program in the most frequently asked questions with the answers. And what's cool about it, you can add a video in there. You can add photos in there and the responses back. So it doesn't just have to be a plain generic thing. They do give you some planned suggestions, like what's your address, all that kind of stuff, hours of operation, yada, yada. But you can add in your own questions and then link it up with a video or photo. And then getting it set up, it's literally you just go through the setting part of the Messenger, and you choose where you want it to be hosted. So what website URL or website URLs that you want this to be on. And then you choose your color scheme, your greeting message, and then it gives you a script that you can send to a developer or put on yourself to be on the website. So I'll post a website example of a couple that it's on, so you can see what it looks like. And it's really easy. Now, they do have to, the only difference with using Messenger versus another one that Mike's going to talk about, and there's several of them that are out there that are free, but the only difference with Messenger is that the person does have to have a Facebook account in order to communicate back with you. So that's could be a downside for some. It could be a benefit for others because they can kind of see who the person is. But that's the only, I would say, restriction to this one that is a little bit different than some of the others are. Another cool thing with Messenger, though, that I'll just mention real quick, is that when you get the message in, you can't leave notes in your Messenger inbox of your business page for what you guys talked about. It does save your conversation, of course, but you can label it on what kind of customer or potential customer they were, and then even assign it to someone else. So there's some really powerful free tools built into Messenger that are definitely worthy of checking out. But the limitation is, again, you'd have to have a Facebook page in order to use it.
Yeah, so beyond Messenger, there are a number of free paid type of website chat tools, and I'm most familiar with one called Drift. There's another one called Freshchat. So again, with Drift, pretty simple setup, and basically you can deploy that with a little piece of code on your website. And again, with the free version, I think it's one user. So that's then if you have more than that, then you go to a paid version on that. But again, so you can set your hours, and then have a specific message, have specific things that are that are shared, those automated messages. If you're outside of hours, it does have a robust app with it as well. So you say, well, if during the day I might be going to the coffee shop for a while, working from there, and what do I do? Well, there's a mobile app that you can use. You can see those notifications come in. It's going to keep that trail. You can answer right from the mobile app. It's keeping all those pieces in there. So, a lot of these work in similar ways that way. So there's things you can do about setting hours. There's things you can do about automating messages. There's ways to have notifications so that you're not missing something, like on your mobile device, your phone, to keep you alert that you can answer there. But the goal is, again, that more real-time communication. There's a growing segment that necessarily doesn't like to make a phone call, or to take the time to look for filling out the contact form. They're just used to a quick chat. They're used to commenting like you do on social media, right? And so a chat on a website is similar to that. So that was Drift, D-R-I-F-T app. And then let's see, if you want to mention and talk a little bit more about Freshchat, go ahead there, Jessica.
Yeah, it's very similar to what you just mentioned with Drift, so I won't go on too long about it, especially since we're a little over time here. But Freshchat allows you to have 10,000 website visitors for free. So as long as you're under those 10,000 visitors, and those
month,
visitors,
probably.
Yeah, per month. And then you can have 5 users on it. Now it does have their branding and all that on it. So, you'll have to check that out to see if it's something that you want, or pay for the paid version of it. But still, it's a good way to kind of start and test out chat, and to make sure that it's a way that you can keep up with it. And that's the difference. That you want to make sure that as long as you're using it, though, it is something that's being active and somebody is monitoring. But it really is a great way of boosting conversions. The sites that we have chat on definitely far exceed the ones that don't. So let's dive into some free tools that people can use, and for actually opting in people. Meaning, like, if you're going to have a blog, make sure that you have people that are a way for people to stay in touch with your blog, so they don't have to necessarily go back to your site every time. But even more importantly, a way that you can build some type of opt-in to start collecting email addresses that you're not just going to spam the people, but a way for them to get in touch with you, to book an appointment. I'm so surprised by people that just don't have a simple contact form still on their website, or even if you have an e-commerce site, signing up for receiving a coupon for $5 if they provide their email address, or opting in for a free ebook or something like that, to where you're at least collecting information in exchange for something of value too. So there's many form builders that are out there that you can start for free to kind of test to see what you like to use. And we'll run through a couple of them here. One of them that is my favorite for if you don't have a CRM is HubSpot CRM. HubSpot has offered a free tool that you can at least start collecting some data. So even if it's like, exit intent kind of pop up, or a pop up that comes up in the footer, to prompt people to sign up with a message. Maybe it's to join your Facebook group or learn about something. You can have that, and they provide a free CRM for you to get started. It's a great way of collecting some details and some information on the leads that are coming in, and be a little bit more than just an email platform.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great tool. Others that kind of fall in that realm for collecting, leads that way, Opt-in Monster. is one. Mail Munch is another. Mail, MAIL Munch, and so both of those will integrate with a ton of email marketing services, even some CRM systems like that as well. So it's and you can do those type of things. Jessica mentioned exit intent. So that is when it's watching and somebody's browser is moving like towards the top right, like they're gonna, X out of that. And so that is exit intent, like they are leaving the page. And so then it delivers the pop-up there for them. It says, hey, wait a second. Do you want, X, Y, and Z? Put your email address in here and you get this offer. That's like an exit intent pop-up. And so Opt-in Monster, MailChimp on those types of pieces are great ones with that. My favorite form builder to use on WordPress websites is Gravity Forms as well.
Yeah, that one's great. Also, Google has Google Forms too, where you can do a lot with it. But you have to make sure that you add the extras in there, like the form notifications and that you can export it. So there is a little bit of process, as there is with all of them, but Google Forms, you do have to add some add-ins in there. It's all free though, in order to make it kind of seamlessly work so you get notified. So just make sure that whatever you do, you do, again, set it up to make sure that you are getting notified of it, test it, and make sure that it works for you. And my new favorite that starts at free, which is most people's favorite price. And this one actually does a lot more than just opt-ins and forms. It does have like a pre-built CRM as well as a texting tool in there. And that's called Sendinblue, sendinblue.com. So it allows you to do email marketing, forms, drip campaigns, text marketing, and has a built-in CRM, and it starts at free. So there's a really amazing tool that we're using it more often than not now with a lot of our clients because of all it can do and its starting price. So if you're just getting started with a list, you're not sure what to use, this is a great tool that will work on any type of website for you to get started in.
Excellent. No, I like that. I probably just Sendinblue made me think of this, and that is I've just recently started using MailerLite. So LITE, MailerLite, LITE, and again because it does offer a great lead capture to nurture email setup, and the nurture email is just very easy to create. So you can kind of create that series of follow-ups to gently inform someone, build trust over the course of time, and again, you can't be free for pretty robust. I want to say it's up to 10,000 emails a month. It's pretty significant.
That's awesome. So we do have some other tools that we will be mentioning in our recap here. So calendar tools too, if you're looking to book appointments, as well as some other add-ins. But speaking of doing opt-in, so we are respectful of your time and you want the rest of these tools as well as some social media tools that we recommend, we'd love to just share with you even a download on all of these. I'm going to put a link in here too if you're interested, want to sign up for getting notified of our blog recaps of this that will have even more. We share it, each week, a recap of the tools that we talked about or what we talked about in the show, as well as a replay of the video and any additional offers that we're giving. So whether that's an ebook on that or helping you learn even more on that subject matter, I give you the chance if you want even more tools, because we can go on and on for tools. We have a link there to the magnet marketers to get notified of the show, as well as the recap of the blog. So I'll put that link in there. You can visit magnetmarketers.com, just learn more and provide your email, and we'll send you the recap of the show and any downloads that we promise. So these tools, though, will definitely help you boost conversions, right? First, it's really not necessarily about what you're selling on your site or what you're offering, but the performance of your site, how people are finding it. And then once they get there, making sure that you are optimizing every opportunity to stay in contact with that person, because it's not often just their first visit where they're making that conversion happen. So you want to make sure that you have some kind of offer or opt-in to where they're going to stay on your site and then hopefully provide some information so you can stay in touch with them over time. So those tools will help you definitely with the conversions. There's a few more that will provide as well. But if you guys are using any tools that you are raving fans about, please share them with us too. We'd love to include those in the recap. Any other tools that you are thinking of, Mike, that you want to give a shout out to before we wrap it up?
No, I just have to say that I love these sessions because between the two of us, I mean, you're always bringing something new to me, and so it's fun to kind of go back and forth on them and to take a look at those and to have those to kind of dig into, because it's always changing, always growing. There's new things that are rising, and it's important to know about those, and hopefully we've given people just a good glimpse that they're not left kind of like, okay, what do I do now? But they have some ideas now. How do you break it down, and how you can go after that and make some improvements?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking about CRMs before this and project management tools right before this. There's always something new to learn, and now's the time to do it, right? Like now that I've been at home more, I've just taken a look at how can we streamline things? How can we amp things up and just, use this time to come out stronger than ever before? So hopefully all of you are looking at your businesses the same way, and we're just here to provide some solutions for you. These are all free. Again, there's some great paid ones out there too, but if you're just looking at starting out and trying something out, nothing wrong with trying out the free version and then deciding from there. But thanks so much for joining in with us this week on Magnet Markers. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till then, have a great rest of your week, everyone. Thank you.
See ya.